Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the International Brotherhood of Magicians podcast. Welcome back. We're so excited to be back with you. My name's Jason Michaels. I am your host. You joined by my co-hosts, Scott Cantrell. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Jason. Good to be here.
Oh, always good to see you. Ben Young,
Hello.
in transit, sort of. He's got
Working.
interesting.
Yeah.
He's got interesting life things to share with us. But let's dive in. Let's get straight to it because this is the first podcast that we've done that we have recorded since the International Brotherhood of Magicians convention in Houston. And so it's like the post-convention podcast. There's been a lot going on, and I think it would be fun to dive into that. I had the fortune of attending. It's been a busy couple of weeks, actually. The you know, Scott and I both live in Nashville, Tennessee, and the Society of American Magicians had their convention here, and so we attended that. I was able to be on one of the shows, and that was great fun. And then the following week, the International Brotherhood of Magicians convention in Houston. So it's just been a lot of magic going on. Scott, we had a good time, didn't we?
We had a blast. It was a phenomenal convention.
And we missed Ben.
We did absolutely miss Ben. That's what made it such a great. No, but Ben, you were missed because people were coming up to us and talking to us about the podcast and love the show
Oh,
and and they were like, "Where's Ben? Where's Ben?" And we were like, "We don't know where Ben is."
It is true.
okay.
We legit
no one
did
asked.
have people. No, we legit had my new buddy Steve Queen from well, actually, I don't know where he's from, but he came up to us at the banquet and we were chatting, and he said, "Oh yeah, enjoying the podcast. You guys are doing a good job." My buddy Vincent Rears, who is a brand new executive committee member, he was talking about. He said that he's a police officer, and he said he when he's out patrolling. Like writing like traffic tickets, he'll listen to the podcast, and so I love that. That's
In New
awesome.
York, no
Yeah,
doubt.
New York City. So he's like out there.
wow.
He's out there, keeping the peace, and we're keeping him company. And then I just got an email from our buddy Eric Schuster, who
Yep.
is also on the IBM board, and he was very kind um, with his comments. And so I guess I just say all that to say, if you're listening, where have you been? Why are you not emailing us and telling us we're great? I mean, come on, guys. Come on, get with the program. We need
Leave a review,
we need
subscribe and
more we
like,
need more
share,
love.
post.
No,
I
but
know.
it's
I would have liked to have been recognized and all of that. No one asked me what I was doing instead of going to the convention, so
Sorry,
I'll
Ben.
just
What
share.
what what were you doing, Ben?
I was running a 2-week magic camp for kids, trying to encourage the future of magic, but now that I see how much fun the convention was, I should have just let them read the instructions on their own. They would have been fine.
that's right. Actually, hey, you know what? Before we dive into the conventions, tell us about that because that's interesting to me. There are different folks. This is a legit business for some people. They do camps and they do all
Yeah.
the. Sometimes they're day long camps, sometimes they're week long camps. Tell us about your magic camp, Ben.
Yeah, so my parents have a farm in East Tennessee with horses, and my mom has done horse camps for like 30 years. And a few years ago, I said, "Hey, what if we sort of joined forces and did like a magic horse variety camp?" And so every day, the kids are so
Magic
tired.
horse variety
I'm just
camp.
thinking of
That's it.
horses juggling and doing like
That's right. Yeah.
it's fantastic. All
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Our little tagline is everything's magic.
Oh,
And
That's good.
so the kids are so tired every day. It's so funny. I mean, we spend the first half of the day at the barn. They're riding horses and doing all sorts
why
of
did I hear
horsey
him say the
things.
first half of the day was at the bar? I was like, really? You're taking the kids to the bar?
Well, they got to test out the new material.
Right. Exactly. Nice.
And then in the afternoon, they have like an art project and we play games and we learn magic. And I'm in the Discover Magic program.
Which is a very cool You've told me a lot
Yeah.
about that. It's a very cool program from what I
Yeah.
understand.
I would, for anyone who wants to teach magic, either doing after school like classes or do camps or anything like that, I would really recommend looking into it because the materials are so high quality. It's really phenomenal. Everything's custom designed and custom built, and It's really, really good. So yeah, so we learn magic and it's fun. And I've been doing it for a few years.
That's
So what
fantastic.
I'm really hearing is that while we were congregating among other magicians and receiving accolades for a stupendous podcast, you were making money
And
doing
teaching the
A
future of
little bit.
magic.
and yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, the
Okay.
future of magic. Yeah,
Okay. All
although
right.
one day we made, like stick horses, that you used to have when
Yeah.
you were a kid. So
Yeah.
it turns out that there's an actual sport called hobby horses where people make stick horses and they actually like run around and go over jumps and stuff as if they were riding a real horse. And so actually, while you were congregating and getting all the accolades, one day we were actually just riding hobby horses around the arena.
That's
So you
fantastic.
had real horses and yet you chose to ride stick horses.
We did both. Yes.
You did both.
Okay. All right. I
Yes.
got you.
Jason,
Yes.
you should do this whole hobby horse thing. You would be perfect to compete in a stick horse riding competition.
I just okay. I really don't know what does. I'm just wondering where the variety comes in because I know where the horse is, and now I know about the magic.
Well, they
But
did arts and crafts and
We
they did
art,
oh,
magic
art
is
and
that the
and
games.
variety?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. When I
Yeah.
think of
nice.
variety, I think of like whip cracking and juggling and all that fun stuff.
Yes, but that would
That's about
require me.
that's my solution. I don't even. All I was thinking about is all the different variety arts I've ever seen, and I don't even know where Scotch Brain is right now.
But Jason, that would require me to learn those things first.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
So anyway, you had good camp.
Yep, it was great.
It's
Super
good.
fun. We had like 20 kids. And yeah, it was lovely. We'll do it again.
Excellent.
Scott, tell us about your experience at the conventions because I had an interesting experience. I saw a whole lot of bad habits. Lots of bad habits.
Well,
Lots of bad
Bad
habits.
habits.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed I enjoyed Sam as well very much. I had never been to a Sam National, so it was cool. It was cool to do that since it was in our backyard, Jason. Like
Yeah, it was
we
great.
had to be there.
A lot of
And
fun.
of course, the guest of honor was our good pal Stephen Bargatze, and so it was awesome to have him honored and hang out with our friends and see some good magic and some lectures. That was a lot of fun. And then, of course, for the IBM, we've been prepping for this one for a while, and
Oh, Dad, you're not kidding me,
the
Dad. Daddy. What did I just say? I
what
meant to say, "Oh,
what
Daddy, you're right," and then I started calling you.
what is happening?
What?
What is happening?
Why did I start calling Scott Daddy? What's on right now? I meant to say, you know what? I'm gonna have to just edit this whole
No, I
portion.
think you
Oh
have to
my
leave it
god.
in because
If there's anyone who would like to take my spot on the podcast, my email is Ben.
I'm god.
Ah,
Okay,
uh,
sorry. All right, friend. Go ahead. Tell us more, friend.
I'm happy to do so, son. Uh, um,
Oh gosh.
No, IBM was fun. The Royal Sonesta was a great venue for the convention. Obviously, it's always fun to see pals and see friends and then make a bunch of new friends. I will say one of the things that I was really impressed by, and Keith Fields and Lady Sarah get tons of credit. The quality of the competitions, we didn't know what to expect because it's been weird the last few years getting a lot of good act submissions to go through the application process to be selected for the competition at an international magic convention, right? This is not a small deal. This is a big deal. And overall, the quality of the acts was superlative. I was really, really impressed by the quality for the stage competition as well as the close-up competition. So
Dude, that
just
stage competition I mean, that thing was serious.
it was.
I was like, wow, wow. I'm gonna be honest with you. So the stage competition lasted about a little over an hour and a half, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. And I thought to myself, well, that was an excellent show. Like,
Yeah.
there were some folks there that were because tickets were sold to the public. So there were some folks
Mhm.
who were just general public. And I thought, well, I mean, that is a killer show to see. And they
Yeah.
had more. I mean, there was more to it. Like they had some professional acts who also entertained, but the competition was so good. I
Yeah.
was like, dang, that was outstanding. And I agree with you because the competitions have been a little bit, yeah, they've just kind of
It's been kind of hit or
they've
miss. Yeah.
fluctuated. You know,
Fluctuated.
sometimes
Yeah.
they're really great, sometimes they're a little bit less than great. It was so, yeah. Keith Fields, Lady Sarah, and then Keith Fields and Lady Sarah took it over from
Oscar and
Oscar and
Melody, who did a
Melody.
tremendous job forever. They did such a great job.
And
And
you know what? I know that they were kind of there just
they were
helping to make
absolutely
sure.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they also
Yeah. They
are
get
to be
tremendous
commended.
credit. The whole convention committee, in terms of logistics and operations and how smooth everything ran, it was a really solid convention, and consistently heard that from attendees who were there in real time, but then also after the fact. So, um, yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction and always want more people to be there. So, I know we'll talk about next year's convention just briefly here, Jason, but it's not too early to go ahead and plan to be with us in St. Louis next summer. So, but
So I go
yeah,
ahead. No, I was going to say I had a couple of standouts. Rob
yeah,
Zabrecki. My goodness, what
yeah,
that guy is so inspiring to watch, as far as being an entertainer myself. So Rob did, or he goes by Rob, but I mean I guess technically the Magic community knows him as Zabrecki. But
Zabrecki, yeah, but Rob is good,
so
yeah,
he did his the Zabrecki Hour, his one man show. He did a talk about spook shows, and then he did his lectures,
yeah.
the ABZs of magic or whatever it's called. Um, and I just was, oh gosh, I just was like, wow, this is. It reminded me, watching him reminded me of how to level up. And
Hmm.
I was like, wow, he is just spot on. He really understands magic. He really understands entertainment. He really understands how to um, take a vision, like some sort of an artistic vision, and put it in front of a real life audience. Like he gets it, and it was so much fun to watch. And another highlight for me was watching Dan Sperry absolutely crush the last show. He was the closer. He did 45 or 50 minutes, and he absolutely tore the place apart. And what's cool about that is that he had done a Q&A slash lecture where it was both a Q&A and a lecture previous, like I think it was the day before, or maybe it was earlier in the day. But the point is, he was just talking about how much he could trace back to being a young competitor in the contest. He said
Yeah,
he actually, there was a period of time where he got really emotional when he was doing the Q&As, and he was just talking about how he hadn't done this in a long time, but he started tracing back how different opportunities had been presented to him, and so many of them came because he was, as a young magician, he was attending the IBM convention. He
yep.
was seeing the people, meeting the people, and he was out there competing. He was being a competitor. And so, Dan,
The first time I met Dan Sperry, we're in the same range, age ballpark, right? And Matt Stanley, Dan Sperry, me, a handful of others were all at Winter Carnival. And Dan may not remember this, Matt may or may not, but Dan and Matt were both competing in the Winter Carnival of Magic competition, stage competition. I was doing some work backstage as a member of Ring 58, and to see, you know, it was clear at the time when you see these guys competing, like Matt and Dan and others, that's like, unless they just decide to stop doing magic for some reason, this is this is their life, right? These guys are
yeah,
going to do it.
you can
They
see a
are.
clear path to the
Yeah,
future. Yeah.
yeah, and obviously they've proven that right. So it was really cool to hear Dan uh, talk about that part of his story, because his act he has evolved so much in terms of his own character and what he's doing on stage, and it's so, like, in terms of casting a vision and going after it, being willing and able to take big risks on stage. I mean, he's done it. So it's been really cool. It was really cool to hear him tell that story, of how the IBM was a common thread in terms of getting him where he is today.
So there were a few sleepers as well. I'll be honest. Like I know Joan Ducour because she has come to House of Cards and performed, and she did a fine
Yeah,
job. She was on the stage, but I didn't really know her. I hadn't seen her close up material, and she did a lecture on strolling magic. And holy cow, dude!
yeah,
Like you only can do the lecture that she did if
if
you've
you've
been
done it.
doing strolling magic for years. Like every single thing she talked about, I was like, yep, 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 yeah. And just over and over again, I was like, she's nailing it. She was speaking to things that you only learn through experience, and her lecture was outstanding.
That's how I felt about Danny Orleans too,
Yeah,
in his corporate
Mhm.
lecture, about corporate work and trade shows in general. I mean, the magic is stellar because he's just a fantastic performer.
yep,
But everything he talked about from a business standpoint was just, I mean, I couldn't buy his notes fast enough, and got to have dinner with him one evening. It was just, yeah, it was just fantastic. It's great to be able to see magicians in a different environment, right? We do have the liberty, we're very lucky to be here in Nashville to be able to see a lot of performers perform at House of Cards. Or,
right.
if you're out west, you may see them at the Castle, you may see them in New York, Chicago Magic Lounge, wherever it may be. So you may see them perform, you may have seen video, but to see them in a magic environment where they're speaking or sharing with other magicians, you get to see a dynamic that you haven't seen before, and it's very cool.
And
It
I
was.
think it's just so cool when on a lineup like that, when people are doing more specialized programming, like doing a lecture that's it's not just, oh, here's some tricks I created or
Yeah.
whatever, but specifically talking about strolling magic, or having Danny specifically talk about corporate magic or trade show magic. Like that's the kind of thing where you
Point.
really get like really good insight into specific things. I
You
love
know,
that.
Great point, Ben.
you know what? I'm going to one of my favorite parts of Danny's lecture was he was talking about, Danny Orleans' lecture was all about corporate magic and the way he approaches corporate magic. And you know what? If you're on social media and you're connected with the magic community, you know people, or at least you're connected to people like Joan Ducor and Danny Orleans and stuff like that. But if you're not seeing them, if you're not actually seeing them work, you all you know is the reputation. All you know is
Right.
what they share online. So he had some. Let me tell you something. That was another perfect case where I was like, holy cow, this guy kills this market. He knows this market so well. He spoke about humor in the corporate market and how he uses humor. And it was like this beautiful light bulb moment for me.
Yep.
And if you weren't at the convention, then damn, you'll just never know what he was talking about, will you?
No, really well done to rub the salt in the wound there, Jason.
You know what? You have to
But
agitate it sometimes
that's
because you
true.
should have been at the I.B.M. convention. It's just as simple as that. It was that good. Now, you know what? Let me say this as well, because we're talking about the shows, we're talking about the lectures, we're talking about the knowns, we're talking about the sleepers, and now you were talking. Let's talk about the unknowns. Let's talk about the people that you looked at the convention lineup and
Yeah.
said, "I have no idea who Gaia Rossi is. I don't care. I don't know who Giacomo Bigliardi is. I don't know who Diego Vargas is. I don't know who Nicole Cardoza is. And so this convention must suck." Well, you would be dead wrong.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You're if you said that, you're ignorant. You're ignorant and you didn't do your due diligence, and you made a mistake, because these unknown folks. All right, Benjamin Barnes books the I.B.M. convention talent.
Yeah.
You know what Benjamin Barnes' job is? He is the talent booker for the Chicago Magic Lounge. Do you think that maybe a guy whose job is booking talent knows a little bit more about talent and who is out there than you? Probably so. So the next time that you look at the I.B.M. convention, you go, "Oh, I don't know who that is." Do not think that the talent's not going to be good, because you would be wrong.
Right.
Look, I will fully accept that I had no idea who some of these people were. But I did know what Benjamin Barnes' track record is, and I've been to enough I.B.M. conventions that I knew it was going to be good. And then, Gaia Rossi was talking about how to use legit, actual, real psychological techniques to fully connect with your audience when you're performing. I mean, this is the type of stuff that is hard to it's hard to like fully explain to somebody how good it's going to be until you're sitting in the room and you're like, wow, I I had no idea about any of the stuff that she's talking about. This stuff is so good.
Yep.
So for
And
the unknowns killed it as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's part of the fun of a convention. And I think we even talked about that when we were leading up to the convention. Like being exposed to people and thoughts that you didn't even know about is so great. Where maybe if it were a standalone lecture, they were coming to your town and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend $30 to go to the lecture. I don't know who they are, what I'm going to get out of it. But like it's all included in the convention. So just go to all the things and you're going to be amazed at the different perspectives and material and everything that you're going to get out of it. That's
Yeah,
what I love.
yeah, yeah. But
This
I
is
did.
me adding to the conversation despite not having been there.
Well, okay. I'm gonna give you. I'm
Because
gonna give
apparently
you
I'm ignorant and
no.
wasn't.
You are. You believe in commerce. You are a capitalist. That's what you are.
Oh, great. On record. Wonderful.
Um, like I said, I saw a couple of bad habits. In fact, I saw a couple of bad habits that I saw over and over and over again. My goodness.
Spill the tea, Jason. Spill
Let me
it.
tell you something. If I'd never see somebody do the sun visor move ever again when they're standing on stage trying to get the lights out of their eyes so that they can pick a person in the audience, how many times in the sun visor move, if you're not watching on YouTube, is simply when somebody takes their hand, puts it puts it on their forehead, shielding their eyes so that they are shielding themselves from the lights so that they can see the audience. Could you be more of an amateur? I mean, it's not that I don't hate amateurs, but I mean, could you be more of like, do you not understand anything about how to perform on stage? I mean, come on, people. And I saw so many people do it at the SAM convention, at the IBM convention. I was like, what in the heck is going on?
They're
Look,
trying to see
Scott,
the audience, Jason. They're trying to see the
they're
audience.
trying to see the audience. Ben, be honest.
Yeah.
Do you do the sun visor?
I'm sitting here thinking about it. I feel like I've probably done it. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've done it.
So,
Because it does.
have you ever been on stage before?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
out of all the times you've been on stage, which is more than you can count on one hand, you've
That's
only
right.
done the sun
Two hands.
visor less than what you can count on one hand,
Yeah.
or no more than what you can count on. Okay, so
Yeah.
why do you not do the sun visor move, Ben?
I've never thought about this, so I love this. This is why I signed up for the podcast. Uh,
this right here.
This is it.
because does it serve a utility? Yes, because you kind of can't see and then you can. But
Yes.
there's something about how it looks that makes it seem like you're caught off guard by the fact that there's a
Right.
light on.
Right.
Yep. And for better or for worse, like it just you can't do that and have it not seem like you weren't expecting the light.
Correct.
Right. Scott.
Yeah, it seems, you know.
Hold on. Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
The last time I checked, I think you had a little bit of theater training. Is that correct?
It's a little bit.
Just a little, like, oh, actual formal theater training, like in a collegiate type of environment.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Tell me how actors deal with lights in their eyes.
Well, Jason, I don't know how many Broadway shows you've been to, but all of the Broadway shows I've been to.
You mean the one with high-powered lights hitting them in the face?
Yeah, but yes, but all the ones, I mean, I can't recall a single Broadway show that I've been to where the four main principal casts weren't doing this the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's
They
a
do
move.
this the
That's the
whole time because
move.
they can't
Yep.
they can't see
They
their
can't
marks and they
see.
want to see
Yep.
the audience reactions.
Yep.
No, no, in all seriousness, the difference between magic, we talked about this a little bit in a different capacity, but the difference between magic and like a play or a musical as a rule is this fourth wall thing, right? So for
Breaking the fourth wall.
right, there's this fourth imaginary wall between the audience and the stage where all
Yep.
the action's happening. And in magic, it's presumed that most of the time we're going to break through that fourth wall. And for plays and musicals, most of the time that wall is invisible, but it stays there. So for plays and musicals, obviously, there's not a lot of interaction between the actors and the audience, to be fair. But I theatrically, when you're on stage, doesn't look great, like Ben said, to be caught off guard, or for it to appear subconsciously or consciously that you are not prepared for what is happening on stage. So it's good if you are on the stage and you are the person on the stage, that you should be prepared without having to do the sun visor.
It strikes me now that I'm thinking about it and
I
thinking
do have a
about.
point of I do have a point of grace, but I can hold it for a moment.
No, go ahead.
The point of grace is that presumably, if they're wanting to look out, a magician or entertainer is wanting to look out in the audience and they can't see the audience, it's because there's heavy light on them, spots and so forth, and the audience is dark. So there were also several times where the, you know, magician, lecturer, whoever might be calling for house, and this is not a professional production. They spend hours, right? The tech team was tremendous, production's tremendous, but you still only have. It's not like you're running the show twice a day for 5 days a week for a month, right? You
Right.
don't have. So there's going to be cues missed, especially things like house lights. Now, it's also possible that the entertainer didn't give the house light cue at all and said, I'll find somebody, I'll get the spectator, I'll look out in the audience, right? And so there's an argument to be made, but they get a little bit of grace simply because they haven't had the tight production cue rehearsal to say, you know what? Instead of me doing this and squinting and doing that, maybe I should just call for house lights.
Let the record show that Scott did the sun visor move with both hands and
I did it with
covered
both
his.
hands.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
let the
like
record
I'm
show.
Yes,
playing
the
poker.
two-handed.
The two-handed sun visor. I am realizing after my anger and disdain shown for people who use the sun visor method, I'm realizing that it's entirely possible that most of these people who used the sun visor don't actually stand on big old stages with heavy duty lights.
Well, that is
And
very
so they
possible.
have no idea. They go walk up on stage, they're like, holy crap, it's bright up here. You see, okay, just for the record, okay, let's talk about what happens when you're on stage. The majority of people sit in an audience and they can see the performer on stage very well if there is proper lighting.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's what you can see, but that is not what the performer is experiencing. The performer is experiencing a massive
Right.
amount of light hitting them in order for them to be seen properly from a good distance away. And between all the fill lights and the general wash and the spotlights, there's a lot of light. And if we're being honest, if the house lights are off and you're getting hit with light on stage, you can't see much of anything.
Correct.
You can see what's on stage because what's on stage is lit,
But,
but
yeah.
you cannot see for the most part the audience. Now that is why you would call for house lights, because once the house lights come up, you can see at least better the who is in the audience. Um, so it's entirely possible that these people that I am showing great disdain for, it is possible that they're close-up performers, maybe they are stand-up performers, and maybe they don't stand up on big stages where they have heavy-duty lights hitting them. Because if they don't, I'm not surprised that they're doing the sun visor move. They don't understand that actors get blasted in the face with lights and they suck it up and just go, "Yep, that's what this is like. That's the experience." You get hit in the face with lights. It used to be, when the lights weren't cool lights like LED lights, it used to be 110 degrees on stage and you would walk off stage just completely just drenched in sweat. But I guess I shouldn't be so. Okay, let's use this as a teaching moment. Folks, if you find yourself on a stage with a lot of light in your eyes, call for the house lights and squint. If that's the best, don't use the sun visor move, because
Especially
you can squint and see better.
Yeah.
especially don't use the sun visor move if Jason Michaels is.
Hey, notice I'm not
Yeah.
calling out specific people. I'm just doing it in general.
It's true.
And
It's
they
fair.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But it is true. I mean, a lot of magicians probably aren't on stages with a full production. If
Right.
you're close up, if you're doing birthday parties, if you're doing, I mean, even if you're like in like doing a church show, maybe you have some lights, but it's probably
Right.
not the same kind of caliber as a full theater. Most like corporates, you're going to be just in a ballroom, and it's the lighting is whatever they have on. So
Yep.
so good for you, Jason, for having your teachable moment and experiencing a little bit of grace.
Please forgive if I angered you by my anger, then I ask for your forgiveness, please.
But it's a good thing for people to think about. It's a good
is.
thing to just sort of have in your noggin of like, because maybe the next time you are on a big stage, you're like, oh, right. Yeah, I can't see. Oh, right. Those three guys on the podcast said, maybe don't do this.
Okay, so if you've forgiven me, then let me tick you off again. Because if you brought somebody up on the stage and then you just left them there like a freaking plant sitting on the stage and you're not paying attention to them, you are an idiot. And you haven't thought about what you're doing. Why would you do that? Why would you bring somebody up on the stage and then not pay any attention to them?
Unless we're excluding character choice, right? So
okay, we can exclude character choice if this is a choice that you have made. First off, if you know what character choice is, then you'll understand what we're talking about. If this is a choice that you've made, then no problem. That I got no issues with it. But something tells me in the most cases that is not what is going on.
Correct.
I saw people get somebody out of the audience, bring them up on stage, and then just kind of go on and do their business as if this person wasn't even standing there. What is the deal? Oh, notice
were they
nobody
holding
has a
anything or
response.
just
There's like no response. Everybody's kind of like, yeah, it's not good.
Maybe they couldn't see them because they were behind them. And they were trying to do the sun visor to see out in the audience, be closer to the fray. Forgot about them, maybe.
That's obviously what's going on.
were they holding something? The volunteer, were they like, it was like, hey, hold on to this, and then they were off doing something else and then coming back to them, or are they,
So, yeah,
hey, come on up, and then they go into like
happen.
a full.
No, that did happen where it's like you brought somebody
isn't
up,
great either.
you have them stand there and then you go off and do something else. I just don't get it. Can you not rewrite your script or like redo your blocking?
Yeah.
And blocking, if you're not a theater person, is choreography. It's where you move, when you move, on what words you move, and all of that stuff. The gestures and the if you move to stage left or stage right or center stage or whatever. But can you not redo that so that you look? If you bring somebody up from the audience, you are going into the audience. You are saying, "Please trust me. I'm going to bring you into my house, the stage, and trust me that I am going to take care of you. You're going to be a part of the show." This you're not saying it. Well, I say you're saying it, but you're there's a trust that is being established. There's it's an unspoken sort of promise. So when you go get somebody and you bring them up on stage, it benefits you because it makes you look good, and it certainly um, gives the person that's on stage a lot more trust when you treat that person with the respect that they deserve. And that means that you are paying attention to them. You don't bring them up when it's unnecessary to bring them up, So I mean, speak to I know you guys have seen this stuff happen before. So I mean, am I out of line for these types of things to bother me? I know it's very subtle stuff and maybe it doesn't make a big deal to some people, but I think these are the tiny details that audiences notice.
Yeah, I agree. I think these are this is tightening, right? This is polishing and tightening. And there are, there are different, the spectrum of these offenses, right, so to speak. I'm not going to name names, but people who were there will remember Winter Carnival many, many, many years ago. I'm not going to even name the year because I don't remember the year. There was a stage performer. I don't want to give too much context. Stage performer closing the show, last show of the convention, I believe, and he asked a volunteer, um, a young woman, not young like a kid, but a young woman, to stand up where she was, and he brought a box out to her, and this box was a pretty hefty box. It wasn't like a cardboard box or anything like that. It was like a heavy.
I just saw it just hit Ben who you're talking about. I
Oh,
saw the
Ben was
look on
there.
it. I saw the look on his face.
Well, no, this is interesting, and I don't want to interrupt too long, but I don't remember who or
Okay.
the context, but I remember the image, which is that whole thing that we talk about. Like people don't remember all the details, but they remember how you felt, or that they remember how you made them feel. I remember.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
on, go
So
on.
he hands her this box. I think she's like down. I don't know if she stayed in where she wasn't in the audience. She wasn't like blocking someone's view, but she came to the front of the stage and she held this box. But she didn't just hold the box like you would normally hold the box like at your chest level. He asked her to hold the box above her head.
Yeah, I remember this now too.
And it was a wooden box, and it was for a reveal that was going to happen. We thought maybe 2 minutes later, but more like 17 minutes later. And this poor lady is doing this, and I don't remember if he had any byplay, if she tried to lower it. Anyway, she's having to hold on to this box, but not only is she having to hold on to this box over top of her head for a very long time, but number one, it takes a long time, and in the meantime, while he's going through process or whatever, he's making vanish so it can reappear in this impossible location. She's just standing there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
she's
tough.
just a prop. She might as well have been a table, right? Just
Hmm.
holding this
Yeah,
box or a string, a rope coming down from the
The
catwalk or
rafters.
whatever,
Yeah.
holding the rafters, holding the box in midair. It as performers in the room, we became offended by how he was treating this lady. And then this magician who is doing whatever it was he was doing on stage wasn't getting the type of reaction and applause he wanted. So he proceeded to
Uh-oh.
take a few minutes to pull a Jason
Hey, wait, hey,
and
what?
told the audience, no, no, this is the
now
appropriate
let me tell you something, people.
this is the appropriate venue to talk about these things, Jason. But this guy was scolding the audience in front of the
Wow.
audience during a performance while
Yikes.
this lady's holding this box over her
Oh my
head.
gosh.
And he's
Wow.
telling them, "You're seeing great magic. You need to clap more. I usually get standing ovations." Da 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 da. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, he was clearly
Oh,
offended by the lack of reaction while he's treating his volunteers as victims, literally.
yeah.
And anyway, it was I say this was the last day of the show or the last day of the convention. It might have been the middle show because seem to remember people talking about it the following day and
Mm.
how offended everybody was with his performance. It notice that what we're not, of course, I'm not naming the magic for two reasons. Number one, I don't remember it, which says something and says maybe the most important thing. Number two, I wouldn't name it even if I did remember it. Um, but yeah, I don't remember anything about that performance other than to Ben's point, how it made me and the majority of the audience feel about how he was treating volunteers. Now that's an extreme example, right? That's obviously a lot worse and a lot more offensive than just having someone stand on stage and not engaging them in the best possible way. But the whole point, Jason, right, is consider these things. Ask yourself these questions. Watch video of yourself performing, and that's what you need to do as a pro to tighten and polish. But
When you bring one person up, I'm sorry,
you're
to just
good.
cut
That's
you off.
it.
When you bring one person up, whether they realize it or not, the rest of the audience feels like they could be that person. That is their
Exactly.
representative. They, if you like, if Scott was saying, like what he was saying, the audience felt a certain way because they felt like that was one of them. Hey, this could
Exactly.
be me up there that this person is treating like that, and I don't like that. So just remember, this
Yeah,
is the audience representative. It's not just one person; it's everybody in the audience.
Yep.
yeah. You don't want them to think, oh, like thank goodness I didn't get picked to be up
Right.
there.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And on that note, also, this is a slight tangent, but maybe don't do things where at the end you say thanks for being such a good sport. But we'll do another episode just for that one.
Being a
Here's what
good
I
Give him a
do
round
say.
of applause for being such a good sport.
I do say so. So I'll just be transparent here because I don't say thank you for being a good sport. Obviously, I do thank them, hopefully with like genuine gratitude because they came up and blah blah blah. But I do say this when Ben, and I want you to be transparent and honest. Would you count what I'm about to say the same way, or is how something is said may be more important than what is said. But here's what I say. I do when someone goes back to the seat, especially if I never make fun of the person, they always end up the hero. But I do things because I'm a comedy guy. I do things that I'm never going to choose anybody that's going to be uncomfortable. I always pre-show it to an extent so I know I'm getting a good person.
You
Uh,
mean you just like let them know that you might pick them, or is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
yeah. I will talk to someone who knows who to
Okay.
pick, or I
Yeah.
will talk to that person, even if I don't tell them specifically what I'm going to do. Right?
Yeah.
I
Right.
will
Right.
I
Right.
will understand their personality and make sure they're comfortable. And I mean, also I've chosen wrong before. Go figure. And I've excused people back to their seat in a kind, hopefully kind, professional, grateful way, and I'll move on or get someone else. But all of that to say, sometimes, like I will do this. I'll do this thing. I mean, Stephen Bargatze does a cards across with plungers on people's heads, right?
Yeah.
I have a routine where it's like egg beater routine, the thought transmitter routine. Those are all in good fun, but you do need to have hopefully the right person. What I will say is not thanks for being a good sport, but I'll say thank you for playing along, right?
Hmm.
Thanks for playing along.
And and that's what I was thinking. There's a difference between thanking them for having fun with you as this experience together versus so many times when they say thanks for being a good sport, what they're really saying is, I'm sorry I put you through what I just put you through, right? I'm sorry that you held onto a box over your head for
Oh yeah,
17 minutes.
yeah,
So it's that context, right? If you were having fun, it's like, hey, thank you so much for playing along. Thanks for having fun up here. Like that kind of sentiment is great. But it's when you're sort of admitting that you know that you put them through the ringer and that they've got some trauma from the magic show.
Thanks for being a good sport, sucker.
yeah, yeah. Right, right. That's
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Yeah. So your excuse, Scott, is what I'm saying.
Sweet,
Okay.
Yeah.
sweet.
Now, I
Yeah.
think we've talked about this before. I'm almost positive we talked about this before, but if you're going to bring somebody up on the stage, will you please walk them off the stage? We have talked about
Mm,
this, right? This was like a
yeah.
discussion we had, or have
I
we
think so.
not?
It's worth mentioning
I don't
again.
remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is maybe one of my biggest pet peeves, and I thought we discussed it, so we can just chat about it for a minute or two. But there are on a stage where it's like a couple of feet high, there usually are a few steps, at least a few, two or three, maybe sometimes as many as four or five. And you have an audience who may have been sitting for a while. You also have an audience in a lot of settings, and you know what? It's all over the place. But we're talking about conventions, so there are a whole lot of older folks. You have folks that are 50s and up, and so there are people dealing with mobility issues. And so and you know what? There are also some elderly people that have mobility issues that maybe they're not as balanced as they used to be. Maybe they just, they don't have as much strength to walk up and down steps as they did when they were younger. And I consistently see people bring people up and then they just go thank you very much and just kind of gesture for them to walk off stage. And I always think to myself, "Oh, you're putting yourself at massive risk. Number one, if somebody falls and hurts themselves, you can be sued. You may or may not lose, but they absolutely can make a case that you're liable because you brought them up on stage and then you didn't make sure that they got off stage safely. A lot of these stages do not have handrails with
Right.
their steps. So you really have to be paying attention. And remember what we just talked about lights in your eyes. You
Correct.
have to be paying attention to the steps that you're walking down. So if you have somebody who has lights in their eyes, who might have mobility issues, and then you just send them off to walk down a set of four stairs, it always makes me cringe because I just think to myself, do you not respect the person that you brought up on stage? You needed them enough to bring them up. But then when you were done with them, you didn't care enough to ensure that they got back to their seat safely, which
Yeah.
just makes me think you're a dick. Sorry.
Well, they didn't need them
More
anymore,
than
so I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
more than
Am I
likely, they just
wrong?
haven't thought about it.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, and I agree with what Ben said. Ben, say it again.
Yeah, more than likely they just haven't thought about it. They just, you
How
kind of
can you
go because
how could do
we're
you
so
have
focused
do
on
they
the
have
trick.
no
You're like, we
empathy?
need to do the
Do they have no empathy for other
No,
people? Do they not realize? I look, I get it if you haven't been on a million stages and you don't
yeah,
have a ton of stage confidence. Like if you're nervous, if you're thinking to yourself, I just my trick has to work and then I have to make sure I say the stuff and then I'll get, take my applause and get off stage. Like I can give you some grace there. But you still have to keep in mind that when you're the person standing on stage, you are the leader of the group.
hmm
The things that you do directly reflect back on you. So if you are willing to take two steps off the stage, what does that mean? That means get out of the spotlight. Holy crap, I'm so sorry you have to get out of the spotlight. But if you're willing to take two steps off the stage, give the elderly woman your hand so that she can walk down the steps safely back to her seat. I assure you, she is very thankful, and the audience is too. And they
yeah,
may not even know why, but they are. They're really thankful because if I promise you, I guarantee you, I am not the only person there who's going, oh my God, is this woman going to fall off these stairs?
correct. Correct. You're also, I mean, to your point,
yeah.
it's not the reason you're doing it. It's not the reason you're doing the right thing. The reason you're doing the right thing is because it's the right thing to do. But there are fringe benefits to what you're saying, Jason. I've seen you practice what you're preaching here multiple times to the extreme, right? Where you'll be center stage, finish the piece, and then walk someone, on a big stage, 20 feet, 30 feet to the stairs, walk them down the stairs, make sure that the path is clear and they can see enough to get back to their seat, and then you turn around and go back up the stairs and back to the stage.
That's right.
Meanwhile, music is playing and audience is applauding, and you may be talking into your mic, you may not be. But the point is, that's to your point, you're doing it because it's the right thing, but the impact it does have with the audience, there's great appreciation for the magician or the performer. It doesn't have to be a magician, but in this case, for the magician who's taking that level of care of the people that they bring up and that they take back to their seat. Right there again, sometimes it may come through subconsciously, but oftentimes it's very conscious. Oftentimes the audience is hyper aware and hyper observant of how someone is treating a member of their world, which is another member of the audience, and they'll acknowledge that, right? So I think it's the right thing to do, so you should do it regardless. You're not doing it for accolades, but oftentimes I think you get accolades because it's the audience acknowledging this guy, this lady care about the people they're bringing up on stage to
Yep.
work with.
I would say that if it is important to you to be seen as confident on stage, do this. Walk your audience member off the stage, walk them safely back to their seat because you will come across as massively confident on stage.
Yeah, agreed.
Ben, do you have anything you want to add to that other than I know you've already added, but is there anything else you want to say?
Nope. Nope. I agree with all.
All right, cool. All right, one more discussion point, and then we're going to talk about actually, let's talk about Ollie Mealing. Let's
Ollie
dive into
Mealing.
that. Scott, you met a new friend.
I have a new. I would absolutely consider Ollie a friend. I hope you would consider the same. So, if those of you out there have not heard of a magician named Ollie Mealing, Ollie is Ollie. Mealing is Mealing. Ollie is a very talented magician and creator from the UK, and has done magic for a long time. Is a brilliant thinker, creative innovator, solid performer, has worked with the likes of Darren Brown on some of his shows and specials. So he has an impressive pedigree, has incredibly prolific developer of particularly card magic, but working in really unique, interesting plots and ideas around how to share a piece of magic or share a piece of card magic. And I was a member of his community, his online community, for a number of months. And a number of months ago, I started engaging him online because the IBM we're always trying to find new ways to bring value to our members.
Mhm.
And there's already, I mean, you think about the investment you make to be a member of the IBM and all the value you get. If you understand all the value you get, it's not even close. Like, if you're interested in magic at all and you want to you want to be part of this community, then joining the IBM is a no-brainer thing. The problem
No
is
brainer.
we, we haven't done a great job educating our members on all the value they get. All that to say, we're still looking to add new value. So I reached out to Ollie and I was like, are there some pieces of magic that you might be willing to share? Just a couple with the IBM. And it started this big conversation, this much larger discussion. And the net of all those discussions and those collaborations is that Ollie has developed what he calls the Milling Experience, which is an
Experience.
online membership community program where you get access to all of his stuff. Everything he's created, new stuff he has consistently created gets put on there. And it's a lot. I think it's like over 200 tutorial videos, all kinds of things. It's amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and I was paying him more in the previous membership he offered for less. So
Oh wow.
he's really upped the ante on this, and it's an incredible program. So all that to say, he's created this and he wanted to do something special for the IBM, and obviously we were all about it. So he's offered the IBM a 50% off
Dang.
reduction for
Wow,
his
that's
program. Yeah,
big.
half
That's
half off.
huge. Wow.
So the program, I believe, is 20 pounds, which translates to around um, $36, something like 32 dollars, but half off of that. So it's 10 pounds, which is right around like 13, $14 of US dollars. And that's on a monthly basis. You get access to everything. He's always putting out new stuff. And then on top of that, he said, I will
There's more.
there's more because the IBM is doing this for me and we're collaborating. I will donate portions of the revenues that come from the IBM back to the IBM to support, lectures and conventions and
That's
other
awesome.
programming. So it's tremendous. It's truly a win-win-win opportunity. Ollie's thrilled to be collaborating with the IBM. We're honored and thrilled that he's willing to collaborate and share this with the IBM. There's free magic available too, so you can
Hmm.
see what he does. If you go to and Jason, we'll figure out how to put this in the video or put this in the
You
notes.
know what? Here, do
Um,
you want me to pull it?
yeah,
I
go
can do
ahead
a
and share
quick
it if you want.
share. I'll do a quick share. And optimize, and I'm gonna pull up the oh, where is it? Okay. So I just pulled up. If you're watching on YouTube, then you can see
Yeah.
this.
And the link you'll want to go to, and we can put this in the show notes or whatever, Jason, is milling.com, MEALING.co. I said com, I meant .co. Milling.co/ IBM, just the
So
letters.
let me play this trailer real quick. Let me see if
Yeah.
I can. I've got it, and let me play it. Oh, what just happened? Uh-oh. I just lost a mouse. My mouse just disappeared on me.
So it looks like
Okay.
it's there at the bottom, that little, okay.
Let me try this again.
You can always throw it in post. This is more fun though.
Here you go.
Jason, everything okay?
I've got it playing.
Oh, we can't see or hear it.
I can.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us what you see. Just describe
Okay.
describe the video to
This
us.
is a trailer of Ollie Mealing doing all his tricks. It says all my releases in one place. It's a massive scroll through over 200 tutorials where he's teaching all his magic, specifically uh, the Mealing experience that has been designed for the IBM. And dude, this thing looks fantastic. This looks
It is.
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So,
So
yeah,
you can go to the website milling.co/IBM. You can sign up for sign up to be on his list because he's sharing free magic, free ideas every like almost every week.
yeah, it's
Do
awesome.
that. Get on his list so you can have access to that stuff. And then if you'd like, check out the Milling Experience, and I would encourage you to become a member and subscribe. It's month to month. You're not locked in, so you can get in, you can play around. If it's not for you, you can cancel. But I would just encourage it. It's to the benefit of you, first and foremost, to get this great content, great knowledge. It's to the benefit of Ollie, obviously, because this is his work, and the work is tremendous. And then it supports the IBM at the same time. So I would
Yep.
just encourage you all to take advantage of this new collaborative relationship. And here's the thing: the more you take advantage of this collaboration that we have with Ollie, the more likely we are to do future collaborations with
Yeah.
other potential magicians and so forth.
Give us the website one more time.
Yeah, the website is www.mealing, MEALING.co
Mhm.
/IBM.
Cool.
That will
Cool.
take you where you need to go.
I'm excited about this. You performed a trick at the most recent club meeting from the mealing experience, and it was a very, very cool trick. After the trick was over, I was like, that is a very cool trick. So and then
Yeah.
you're like, I just learned that from the mealing experience. I was like,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So all right, one more point of discussion.
Here we go.
Let's do
All
it.
right. Let's talk ethics.
Oh no.
Okay, here we go.
How
You
much time we have?
I know we have but we're gonna go for another 15
Okay.
if we
I can do
can.
that.
You watch the trailer of a brand new magic product that is on the market. You go to one of the big magic warehouses, the magic shops online, you watch the trailer, you watch it a couple of times. You've been in magic for a while, so you have some knowledge of magic methods, and you go and you reverse engineer how it's done. And then you say to yourself, I'll just make this up for myself and go do it for my audiences. Ethical or unethical?
First of all,
Unethical.
I think it's a good question. I think it's worthy of
It's a
discussion.
very good question. Yeah.
Ben, go.
So I have seen this. We've all been in magic for a long time, the three of us. So this is not something that's new, but I think what you have is you have a community of people here. A lot of the people in the community are puzzle workers. They are engineers. They are the type of people
Yeah.
who like to figure things out. That is part of the fun for them. And so when you have a base set of knowledge and you go, oh, I understand, but from every trick you've ever purchased or learned, you've got that base set of knowledge. And then you say, oh, I'm going to try to figure these tricks out. Is it okay to do that? Is it okay to take money out of the pocket of someone who created a magic trick that you would not have recreated had you not seen the video
Right.
or the performance from someone else? Is it okay for you to say, well, I figured it out? It doesn't matter.
And that's the thought that I had, was that you owe them something because you wouldn't have had the thought on your own.
Yeah, without seeing the performance, or at the very least, the
The
preview,
trailer.
or whatever,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you never would have thought to create that trick yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Therefore, it is not okay just because you're smart enough and have a base set of knowledge. It is not okay to reverse engineer it and then, do it for yourself. So what should
Rephrase, or just add one addendum to that.
Okay.
You can do that, but send the guy his $30.
Fair.
Buy the trick. You can create it on your own, but buy the trick. Right? That's what we're
Right.
saying.
What if he's selling it for 100? Do you still just send him 30?
Yeah. No, you send him you send him $100. You still buy the trick. I mean, I think that's where I come down on this too. Let me ask this question just as a corollary.
Yep.
In my head, I'm making the assumption in this scenario that whatever this thing is there's a gimmick or a device or something related to it, right? Something that requires having to be built. But what if the routine doesn't require that? What if the routine is just done with like sleight of hand and technique and you're able to reverse engineer? Do you still honest question. I have my thinking on this, but I'm asking the group. Do you still buy it, or is there not a difference between gimmick versus sleight of hand and technique, or is there a difference in this scenario between gimmick and sleight of hand technique?
Ben.
I still think the right thing to do is to give them their credit, which is probably in the form of dollars.
Yep.
And
That's my
also
thinking as
go
well.
into it. But there's a kind of a layered thing. I mean, and magicians have egos. I don't know if we've talked about that on the pod, but
What?
did you ever think that maybe there's a little more to the routine than what you figured out than just strictly the mechanical aspect of it, or the moves or whatever? And maybe it's worth hearing the insight of the person, or from the person that came up with it. Maybe from doing it for people, they have some insights and some knowledge on it that would be valuable to you.
That
Yeah.
could help you come up
Just
with
because you
something
figured out
else,
how it works
perhaps.
doesn't mean you have the full picture. What's that?
That, yeah, and all those notes and those insights could help you create another piece of magic yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So
I agree.
what if it's not a purchased product? What if you see a magician that you're hanging out? Let's say you're doing a gig and you're with there's another magician doing the gig, and you, for whatever reason, you're watching the other magician and you figure out what that magician is doing and you can reverse engineer it. Do you have the right to reverse engineer that? That's not something that is being offered on the market. Maybe it's just something that, as far as you know, it's somebody else's performance piece.
I think I have a lot of clarity on that one, and I guess there's always a discussion and debate around any of these things. I suppose and it's probably good that these things are talked about. Um, the way I was taught from my mentors is in that situation that you're describing, you see something performed, it's not a marketed effect per se that you know of. Um, you go talk to them about it. If it's something you really like and you want to put in your show, you don't just take it and start doing it. That's the rule. You don't just take it and start doing it. If you're interested in that and you're interested in potentially doing it or possibly doing it, then you go talk to that person. And that person's going to tell you, this is mine, you can't do it. They're going to tell you, this is mine, I'm totally cool with you doing it. Or they're going to say, this is not mine. I got this from here, here, and here. And you're welcome to those, or I got it from someone, I have to tell you where. I got it from somewhere. It's not mine. It's not mine to share. I can't give you permission to do it. Or they can say, it's not mine, and this is where I got it from. Go do your due diligence. And if you want to do it, you can. It's going to be one of those things, but absolutely you do not take it and start doing it
Mhm.
without a conversation.
Yeah, Ben, any additional?
Yep. Nope. I agree completely.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Sorry.
So if you want to have just incredible discussions like these, then you need to go to the next IBM convention, because I heard they're going to have the IBM podcast team at the. Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't hear that actually. No, I'm just making that up. I'm gonna apply some pressure, and so I'm just gonna announce it at every podcast that the IBM podcast team will be at the next IBM convention, and we'll see if we can get booked. But we haven't been booked, but we'll see if we can get booked. But right now,
Who
we're
books that?
definitely not booked. Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. But anyway, so hey,
Hi, Ben. Hi,
if
Ben.
you if you want to,
And
no,
Ben.
hey, you know what though, I will say, if you want to hang out and chat with folks who are members of the IBM podcast team, if you want to see amazing lectures, if you want to see great shows and have stories like the ones we've been telling on this podcast, early bird registration is right now open for the IBM convention. Now, the 2026 convention is being held in St. Louis. It is
Yeah.
being held. It starts on July 22nd and goes through the weekend, and it is going to be a big time. Now, here's the cool part. Early bird registration is right now until the end of the year. You have through the end of the year to register um, and get the early bird registration. But here's the cool part. If you register right now, like register now, register before the end of August, we are going to be giving away a pair of front row tickets to a random person who has pre-registered. So register anytime from now until the end of August. We're going to put all the names in a random generator, and whoever's name it spits out is going to get a pair of front row tickets to all the shows at the convention. You don't have to buy a VIP. All you have to do is win this contest. So
That's
if you
cool.
want to go ahead and have a shot at front row tickets to all the shows at the upcoming IBM convention, check out IBMconvention.com And I'm looking at the early bird registration for a life member. The early bird registration is only $350. That's pretty darn good for like a 4.5 day long convention. That's pretty outstanding, actually. But go check out ibmconvention.com and go ahead and get registered because we want to see you there. Any final thoughts, fellas?
The St. Louis convention is going to be fantastic. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Do you guys know what the ring number is? The St. Louis ring number? Yes, ring number 1. So St. Louis is also the HQ for the IBM office. So St. Louis is a cool place for us to bring the convention back to after a number of years, and a lot of fun stuff there in the city. So it's going to be a fun convention.
Absolutely. All right. Ben, last thoughts? Anything you want to add?
I really enjoyed talking about the bad habits that you saw at the convention.
I'm just going to
I,
keep
I
a
liked I
running
liked kind of
list.
having the little things. I mean, I think it's interesting for people that haven't thought about some of these things before.
Yeah.
You're just thrown on a stage and you're bringing someone up and they're standing there for 17 minutes and you had to go like this to see them and all that kind of things. I mean, just hearing us talk about them. I know we kind of get dramatic about it, but hearing those things, being aware of it, I think is so great for people.
Yeah. I agree, Ben. I think it's fantastic. And I'll just end by saying thank you guys for being such great sports.
Thanks for being such great sports. And with that, we are done with the latest version of the I.B.M podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you would like to reach out to any of us, you can get all of our contact information and our social media handles on our on the website. You can check out magician.org where we are all the podcast episodes are about to start living. We also put that stuff in the show notes. We also put it on the YouTube description. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you'd like to, in some way, shape, or form, ask a question or make a comment about the podcast. We appreciate you guys listening. For my co-hosts Ben Young and Scott Cantrell, and I was about to say I was a co-host, and I am Jason Michaels. And y'all have a good one, Daddy. All right, peace out.